Okay, so before we move to the next step, so what we did so far, I'll just give you a quick brief. In the FI, we have the basic setting, and in the basic setting, we have first step where we have understood about the company, which is used for the internal trading partner so that we can make the internal intercompany transaction. So for each of your legal entity, you are going to give a trading partner, and we set up as a company. When we are going to set up as a company, what we need to do, we need to give the ID, name to, like description, then name to, then country, city, country, language. So these are the field we need to enter in the when we are going to define the company. So these are the fields we maintain. Then the next step, step number 1.2, we have understood about the company code. So company code, we have a legal entity, and for this legal entity we follow the accounting, and this accounting we follow for the external reporting to the government or to the tax authority, to the shareholder. So this is the purpose of having this company code in the SAP. Then for the, if I talk about the number convention, so for each of the ID, like whenever we set up any object, so we need to give the ID. So the length of the company ID, it is up to the 6 character could be alphanumeric. If I talk about the company code, the length of this company code ID is up to the 4 character could be alphanumeric. And when you are going to define the company code, so you need to give the company code ID, company name, city, country, currency, language. Then we have also seen whenever we save any kind of development data, system pop up a message for the transport request. So through this transport request, we will be able to move the data from one client to another client or from one server to another server. So this is what we have done till the last class. Now we have the step number 1.3 where what we need to do, we need to assign that company code to the company. And how to do this? Again, for that we need to follow the path. So we need to go to the SPRO enterprise structure assignment financial accounting assign company code to the company. So we need to go to the system. Here we need to write SPRO, enter, click on the IMG button, and then we can go to the enterprise structure assignment financial accounting. You will see the first option we have assign the company code to the company. We can click on this, and then we can click on the position button. So we set up our company code ID with the ID 11 2233. So this is the ID we maintained last time. Okay. Now the company ID we maintain for this company code, it is TP2233, and then you need to press enter button, and then you need to click on the save button. So you can just see in the development TR message pop up. Okay, so it is coming. So we want this data to be maintained under the same TR. We don't want to change it. Okay. So for this we need to click on this green button, save the data. You got the notification your data has been saved. So this is why this is required for the intercompany transaction. This is required for a intercompany transaction, and this is required for your legal entity, for your legal purpose. This is a legal entity. This is a organizational unit for which we will follow the accounting. So when you are not doing any intercompany transaction, then you need to create only this company code. So your first step is not required. This one, company is not required. But if you want to make the intercompany transaction, then for this company code, you need to give a ID. So that ID we will be giving through this company step. Then we have the step number 1.4 where we need to define the business area. Now how this business area is different from the company code? Business area means your branch. In the business terminology, we call it as a branch, but in the SAP terminology, we call it as a business area. So if I compare with the company code, both are the organization units. Your company code is our organizational unit. Your business area is also a organizational unit. But what's the difference? So the difference is your company code is a legal entity. Your business area is not a legal entity. And this company code you will be defining for the external reporting. On the other hand, this business area we will be defining for the internal reporting, so that we can compare, or the management can take the decision that this branch is better than the second branch, or we are incurring the x amount of we are incurring the x amount of expense in a particular business, in a particular branch. We are generating this much revenue for a particular branch. So this kind of information, financial information, we will be able to maintain at a business area level. So the way you maintain the financial statement, when I'm saying financial statement, your profit and loss, you maintain or you create at a company code level. Same way, you can maintain those financials, that profit and loss financial statement we can maintain at a business area level. So business area wise financial statement you can also maintain. But again, it is subject to the client requirement, if client is looking for that or not. Okay, we don't need to give the country, currency, language option, so we need to only give the ID and description. And we also don't need to assign it. Why? Because this is used during the account posting. So for example, if you are making any accounting entry, in that we need to use this business area. If I go back, come out of the assignment, go to the definition, financial accounting. So you can just see in this, you will be able to find out the define business area option. Click on the define business area activity, and you can just see following are the business area. So in any of the company, you can just see these can be set up as a business area. For example, automotive, mechanical business area. We can also have the consumer product, chemical, electronic product, pharmaceutical. So all these product line or the branches can be set up as a business area. Your business area is nothing but your location, or I would say product lines. So that can be set up as a business area. Now click on the new entry button and give the business area ID. What is the business area length we can maintain for the business area ID? We can maintain up to the 4 character could be alphanumeric, and this 4 character could also be same as your company code ID. So my company code ID is 2233. So I can also keep 2233 as a business area. Why? Because we need to keep 4 character, and this could be anything. Then we have the description. So let's have the description as business area for New York, and then we can save it. Press enter button, and then we can go back. So we have done step number 1.4. Now we have the next step, which is a fiscal year variant. So before we understand the fiscal year variant, let's understand the fiscal year. What do you mean by the fiscal year? Fiscal year, it means your accounting year. So let's imagine you have set up a business and you also got it registered. So every year for a particular accounting year, you need to publish, you need to share your financial information with the government or with the shareholder. So this could be for a particular time period, and the time period we call it as a accounting year. So normally we have the accounting year as a calendar year, but subject to the country or client requirement, it may be different. In some country, we maintain the financials as per the calendar year. So calendar year means your January to December. So these are 12 months in which we record our accounting entry and we publish the financial statement. But in some country like India, we follow a different accounting year. This is not calendar year. Here we follow non-calendar year, and in this non-calendar year, our first period starts with the April. So the books are maintained from April to March next year. So these are the 12 months in which we maintain our financials. Likewise, you can also have the fiscal year. as a non-calendar year, and this could be also from July to June, October to September. So in any case, you are going to have the 12 periods. You will have 12 months, and those 12 months you can use as a posting periods. So these are the normal posting periods. Now let's talk about the fiscal year variant. So here we have discussed about the normal posting period. Now what we do, so when we are doing the business, when we need to do some kind of business adjustments, we need to do some financial accounting entries we need to make, and those financial accounting entries are nothing are I would say internal adjustments. So those internal adjustments we don't want to be part of these 12 periods. So for that, what is the option? So the option is we can maintain the special period. So what do you mean by the special period? In these special period, we can carry out our year-end adjustments, our quarterly adjustments. We can carry out in these special periods. And how many special periods we can have? What is the maximum count? So the maximum count for the special period is 4 periods. We can't have more than 4 periods, irrespective of the country or client requirement. And if we if we combine both of these two periods, like normal and special, so for any of your company, you can maintain the posting period not more than 16. So out of the 16, 12 are normal, 4 are special. So this is a combination of normal and special we maintain under the fiscal year variant. So you can just see, in order to set up your fiscal year variant, you can use this path, or you can also use the transaction code. So the transaction code is OB29. So let's go to the path SPRO IMG. Then we can go to the financial accounting, global setting, and then we have the fiscal year. In the fiscal year, you can just see we have the first option, maintain fiscal year variant. Click on this, and then we can just see some standard data provided by the SAP. So let's take the calendar year. So if I just see the calendar year, so we have a standard data provided by SAP, and this data you can just see in any of the SAP system. So like here we can just see we have K0, K1, K2, K3, K4. So these are the option SAP has given for your calendar year. And why these 5 options are given? So for example, if client doesn't want to use the special period, in that case we can use only normal period. So if client wants to use only normal period, then we have this 12 option. Okay, so this 12 plus 0, this is the first variant ID. Okay, this we can use for our company code. But if client is saying that no, I want to use one special period, in that case we have a combination of 12 plus 1, 12 normal period, and one special period. Likewise, we have the next combination, or the next variant, where we have a combination of 12 plus 2, 12 plus 3, 12 plus 4. So this is the maximum combination count we have. So we can't have more than 16 periods. And in any of the company, if you have taken this K4, okay, so this maximum count you have taken, so this is up to the client, they want to use it or don't want to use it. Okay, but if they are already assigned, they are already using this one, 12 plus 0, that is a K0, then they will not be able to use the special period if they want. Okay, so in that case, what they need to do, they need to change their fiscal year variant. So that is the reason always we suggest the client to go for the K4, where we have the maximum combination, maximum number of periods we have. And if client is saying that no, I don't follow the calendar year, then SAP also provides us the non-calendar year fiscal year variants option. Which are those? So for that, we can click on the position button. We can enter here alphabet as V and then enter. So you can just see we have been given the option as April to March, that we can use it for the Indian client. Then we have the July to June. This we can use for the European client, because in Europe most of the books are maintained according to July to June. Then we also have a option where we can maintain the books according to October to September under the variant V9. And for each of the non-calendar year, so we have the combination as 12 plus 4. If we can't have the option 12 plus 3, if client is looking for that, yes, we can do it. So what is the way to set up it? So simply what you do, if your client is saying that I want to have a combination of 12 plus b, 12 plus 3, so just simply you pick it. Then you can just see there is a copy button. Okay, so just click on this copy as option, and here we need to give the ID for our new variant. So our new variant ID is, let's say it is double three, and the combination I want to have it is 12 plus 3. Then enter. Then click on the copy all option, and then press enter button. So this is how you have set up your new fiscal year variant. Now just save it and then enter it. Now you can click on the position button. Once again you go to the V. There is a catch in this non-calendar year. What is the catch? So if you just take any non-calendar year, so let's say V3, I pick it, and then I go on the left side. On your left side you can just see we have been given the first folder as periods. Okay, double click on this, and we have months in this variant V3. We have the months 1 2 3 4 5 6 till 12. We have the months. Okay, then for each of the months, so this is what: January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and so on and so forth. Now for each of the month you can just see we have been given the days, and then we have been given the period. So here you can just see for your fourth month, that is your April. So you can just see the period we have here, it is 1. For the May we have the period as 2. For June we have the period as 3, and so on and so forth. So here what we can do, we can just see here we have we have 9 periods, that is from April to December in this financial year, that is 2023. In next financial year, that is 2024, we have our remaining 3 periods. Those are coming in the month of January, February, March next year. So because these are coming in the next year, will be apply here, will be using here the year shift as -1. Why -1? Because these are coming in the next year, and all those which are coming in the same year, so we will be not using any year shift. For that we have the 0 option. Now it is saying that you need to set up a fiscal year variant and assign to your company code, and this could be calendar year, non-calendar year. Now we need to assign it. Step number 2.2. For that we need to come out of here, and then you can just see there is a second option, assign company code to your fiscal year variant. Click on this. So here we need to click on the position button. Sometime what happens, so here we have some company code for which we have the blank fiscal year variant. Okay, so when you are going to assign it, sometime system will give you a warning message for other company code that we need to ignore. How to ignore? By pressing the enter button. So for example, if I just click on the position button and then press enter button, because it is giving a warning message which is not for our company code, it is 0100. Okay, this is some other company code we have. Now press enter button to ignore this warning message. Again press enter button and give the company code ID 2233, and then give the fiscal year variant ID. Here I am going to take the calendar year. So for the calendar year we have K4 option, and then I am going to save it. Click on the save option, enter. Then we have our next step, step number 3, and it is related to the chart of account. Let's discuss the chart of account. So here in the given material to you, okay, practice material, you will find a PPT related to the chart of account. Let's open it. So you know that how we will be able to maintain the financial data. So for that we need to make the accounting entries. In order to make those accounting entries, what we need? we need the account numbers. So those account number we call them GL. In order to set up the GL, we need to set up this object called chart of account. This is, I would say, head of all the accounts. Okay. So without this chart of account, you can't create your GL account. In order to set up the GLs, this is mandatory in the system. We need to define this chart of account in the system. So that is the purpose we are defining this object in this organizational or in this basic structure or in the organizational structure. So here it is saying that chart of account is what? It's a list of general ledger account used by any organization, and it is mandatory. It is compulsory to define the chart of account before we start any kind of GL account posting or any we create any kind of GL accounts. So for each of your GL, so we maintain some information at a chart of account level. What kind of information we maintain? So we maintain the name of the account number, GL account number, account group, type of account. So this type of information we maintain in the chart of account level for any of your GL. There are three types of chart of account in the SAP. First is your operating chart of account, and this operating chart of account you will be using for your normal transaction. For any kind of your business transaction, or I would say day to day business transaction, you will be using this operating chart of account. This is mandatory. Without this operating chart of account, you can't imagine your day to day transaction. This is required, this is must. And this you are going to assign to your legal entity. This you are going to assign to your, for example, if you have set up 10 legal entities, you want to make the transaction in those 10 legal entities, then you need to make sure each of your legal entity is assigned with this chart of account, operating chart of account. Second type of chart of account we use for the consolidation of data. If you have the financial data, you want to consolidate them, then for that we use this group chart of account. But this group chart of account is not mandatory, unlike your first one, that is the operating chart of account. Why? Because sometimes we see in the client business, they are not using only SAP ERP, they are using some other ERP also. So for example, they are saying that yes, we are using SAP, but along with the SAP we also have the Oracle in our system. We are also maintaining some data in the Excel. We are also maintaining some data in QuickBooks or in some other ERP. We have different ERP, and at the end of the year or at any given point of time, they need to consolidate the data so that they will be able to see the financial statement of their group. So for this reason, because they are using the different ERP, and those are the non SAP or SAP ERP, so in this case they need to use some software, some application which is going to consolidate all this data. So if this is a scenario, in that case we will not be using this group chart of account. Then when this group chart of account we will be using when we have all the data in the SAP. And if you have all the data in the SAP and you want to consolidate the data, you want to consolidate the company code data. Let's say you want to prepare a single financial statement for your group, and that group consists of 50 legal entities. So in that case, you can create this group chart of account. So for your 50 legal entities, you can make a single financial statement, profit and loss and balance sheet for your 50 legal entities. Why? Because that information, that financial information you are going to group. And for grouping of that financial entries or financial transaction, will be using the group chart of account. Third type of chart of account we will be using to fulfill the legal requirement of any particular country. So for example, we have country like Mexico, Brazil, Colombia, where localization is required, where the data, accounting data, financial data to be maintained not only in the English language, so they also need the data to be maintained in their local language. So this local language could be Brazil, it could be Brazil language or Colombian language or Mexican language. So in this case, how we will be able to maintain our GL data, our GL financial information in that particular language? So for that, what we can do? So here we can use two chart of account. In this case, we can for that particular legal entity, because for that particular legal entity, let's say we have a business in Colombia or Brazil, and every year they need to report to the head office, which is in US, and they need to also report to their local authority, that government or tax authority. For that, they need to maintain the data in their local currency, sorry, in their local language. And also the number convention is different. So for example, the number convention for the GL we are having for US reporting, it is 10 digits, and for the reporting we are doing locally in Brazil, it is 7 digits. So if you have this gap, so this gap can be bridged with the help of country specific chart of account. So what this country specific chart of account will do, it will fulfill the legal requirement of a particular company code, okay, and in a particular country. So this country could be Brazil, or it could be Colombia, or it could be any country. So here it is saying that it contains the GL account required to meet the country specific legal requirement. So here it is saying that the chart of account here means which kind of chart of account? Operating chart of account. So this operating chart of account can be assigned to how many company code? It can be assigned to a single company code. It can also be assigned to the multiple company code. A company code can have how many chart of account? A company code can have three chart of account, but a company code will be assigned in the system to two chart of account, and these two chart of accounts are operating chart of account and country specific chart of account. Now I give you an example. Here, let's say we are maintaining the operating chart of account. Whenever you are going to set up any operating chart of account, what do you need to do? You need to define the length of the GL. So the maximum length provided by the SAP, it is up to the 10 digits. So if you are making any accounting entry, you will be using the GL. Okay, so here we are talking about the GL length. So for example, I'm going to post a accounting entry in this company code 1122, currency is USD, and here we need the account number in which we can post the accounting entry. So if I am using the account number as, let's say it is 400,000, okay, I'll just show you the GL we have here. Press F4 key, enter. You will see here a list of GL, 6 digit. So here we can just see 100,000, then 100,001, then 100,002, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on and so forth. Okay. So we have here the GL, and for each of the GL, length is identical. It is 6 digit. So this is what it is saying. So this 6 digit we have taken for our project, but if client is looking for more than 6 digit, so SAP has given us the option to maintain it up to the 10 digits. Before you create the GL account, what do you do? You create the account group. What do you mean with account group? Similar type of account you will group together. I'll just show you. We maintain mostly four types of account group. So you can just see the example for this account group. So here we have the account group as income, expense, liability, and assets. Income and expense we maintain for the profit and loss account statement, whereas liability and assets we account groups we use for the balance sheet reporting. Now under the each account group, let's say you have maintained this asset. Under this asset account group, you can create how many GLs? So for this, you will give a limit that okay, I'm going to create the GL from 200,000 to 2999. Likewise, for the expense, I will be giving the limit that I will be creating the GL from 400,000 to 4999. So this is what we are discussing here. When you are going to set up a chart of account, then you need to give the length of the GL, and the maximum length of the GL provided by the SAP, it is up to the 10 digits. But normally in any of the project we follow 6 digit. In some 7, in some 8, in some it may be 10. So more, not more than 10 we follow. Okay. Here it is liability account, liability account group, or simply let's say liability account, asset account, income account, and we have the expense account. So these types of accounts we use. Now for each of the account, you will be, when you are going to set up it, so you will be creating a number. Okay. So what we will be doing for these accounts, we will be giving the first digit through which we will be able to identify it if it is a liability GL or liability account, asset account, income account. So we will give the first. Here we have discussed that, or we have decided we'll go with the 6 digit GL. So we have decided that okay, for all my liability I will be using 1, for all my asset I will be using 2, for income I will be using 3, and for expense I will be using 4. So this is a single digit we have given. Now what about the remaining 5 digits? For the remaining 5 digits, we can use here 0, and we can give the range from 100,000 to 1999. So this range of GL we have given for the liability account group. Same way, you will be giving the GL range for your remaining account group. These are assets. So it is starting from 200,000 to 2999. For income, it is 300,000 to 39999. And for expense, it is going to be 400,000 to 4999. Now, under the each account group, how many GLs you can create? You can create 100,000 GL. You can create 100,000 GL, and those 100,000 GL we can use for our accounting entries. Now, this operating chart of account we need to set up here, and the path we will follow. So, here we can go to the path IMG. So, this chart of account option you will be able to find out under the financial accounting, under the general ledger accounting. Actually, I would prefer you to go through the navigation, because through the navigation you will come to know a particular object is coming under which component. Okay. Otherwise, if you use like simply transaction code, then you will not be able to realize this object is coming under which component. Okay. So here we can clearly see that our fiscal year variant is coming under the global setting. Our general ledger, or this chart of account is coming under the general ledger accounting. Likewise, we have other components, other objects that we are going to see under this different components. So go to the general ledger accounting, GL account, master data, preparation, and here we have the option edit chart of account list. Edit chart of account list. Click on this, and then you can just see here we have 47 chart of account already in the system. If you want to create your new chart of account, click on the new entry button. Give the ID for the chart of account. So the ID for this chart of account we can maintain up to the 4 character could be alphanumeric. This is the length we have for the chart of account ID. And what is the length? 4. It is 4 character alphanumeric. It could also be same as it could the ID of this chart of account could be same as your company code ID. So here, to just for the easy to remember, I'm going to use the same ID which I have given for my company code. So the chart of account ID we have here 2233. We can give the description as this is what, this is a operating chart of account. for double two double three. Okay. Then when you are going to set up the chart of account, you can just see these are the fields we need to maintain, like the language. So here we can maintain the language as English. Then we can define the length of our GL account number in this chart of account as 6. So here, as I discussed with you, the maximum limit SAP has given us, it is up to the 10 digits. You can just see 10 is coming. Okay, but I don't want to give 10, I want to give only 6. Then that's fine. So these fields are not relevant as of now. If you are creating a group chart of account, so for each of your operating account, for each of your operating chart of account, you need to give the group chart of account. So because we are not using the group chart of account, we can just keep it as blank and then save. Enter. So this is how we have set up our operating chart of account. What next we need to do? Step number 3.2. Once you have set up your operating chart of account, you need to link it. You need to assign it with your company code. And for that, we will go back. Actually, whatever the development we are doing, okay, so we will be testing this development through the accounting entry. We will carry out the accounting activities, and if we are able to carry out our accounting entries, it means our configuration is correct. We have not made anything wrong in the configuration. But when we are doing the accounting entries, when we are posting the JE, general accounting entry, and if we are getting the error while creating the GL account, while posting any kind of document, if we are getting the error, it means something is missing or something is incorrect in our config, or the config created by somebody else. So we need to check that config, we need to fix the issue, and then we need to test it. And then if we are not getting the error, then it means that config has worked. So here we need to go to the next step, assign company code to the chart of account. Click on this and click on the position button. Find out your company code ID, which is 2233 in our case. And you can just see it is asking for the chart of account ID. And what's our chart of account ID? Same as our company code ID. Enter, save, enter, and then we can come out of here. After completing the step number 3.2, we have step number 3.3 where we need to define the account groups. So these are so many account groups. So if you just notice here, I just shared with you 4 account groups. Okay. So if you further want to break down those account groups further, let's say you want to maintain liability, and liability you want to break down as share capital, reserves and surpluses, accumulated, secured loan, unsecured loan, current liability. So this is how you can maintain the GL account group, and you can maintain the GL account range. Likewise, if for your assets you want to break down the account group, so here we have made 2 account groups for the asset. Then for the income, we made these account groups, okay, for 3 account group. And for expense, we maintain these 4 series account groups. So here, if you just notice, all those account group having the GL range starting with 1. So these are your liability. 2 starting with 2, these are your asset. Starting with 3, income. Starting with 4, these are the account groups you will be using for creation of your expense GLs. Okay. So this is how we will be able to set up the account groups for under a chart of account, operating chart of account. Now, this is not mandatory that for each of the project you need to maintain these many account groups. So minimum 4 accounts are required. We maintain under the chart of account. And what are these? I'll just show you. For that, once again, we need to come out of the screen and we need to go to the next step. You can just see the next step. It is showing you define the account group. Click on this and click on the new entry button and give here your account group. Chart of account ID here we need to maintain. So the chart of account ID, operating chart of account ID, we maintain as 2233. Account group. So as I just shared with you, we have four account group: liability, asset, income, and expense. So those four account group we need to maintain here. And for each of the account group, we need to give the short name, long name. For the short name, we have been given the maximum length as 4 character, and for long name, we can give the description. So for example, here we have the liability, liability account group. The range is from 100,000 to 19999. Then 2233 chart of account. Next account group we have asset account group. GL account range we are having here 200,000 to 29999. Then we have income account group. ID is INCM income account group. GL range starting from 300,000 to 39999. And last we have expense. Short name is expense EXPN and long name is expense account group. And the GL range we can maintain for this account group starting from 400,000 to 499. Press enter button, save it, and then again press enter button. Now we can come out of here, follow the next step. In the next step, it is saying that whatever are your income statement account or profit and loss account. Okay, so profit and loss means what? Your income and expense. So if you are going to maintain the income expense account group or income and expense GL, for this there would be a year-end treatment. So what is the year-end treatment? Actually, we have a different year-end treatment for our balance sheet accounts vis-a-vis for our profit and loss account. So what is the treatment we have for the balance sheet account? So whatever the balances we have, let's imagine that you have the business. In that business, you have the balance sheet. You are maintaining the balance sheet for your liability and for your assets. So you are closing your books. When you are closing your books, you have found some obligation that okay, I need to pay 100,000, I need to receive 50,000, I have a asset of 20,000, fixed asset, current asset, stock, investments. So this kind of assets I will just maintain in the balance sheet on the asset side. Liability, I need to pay to my vendors, my bank, I need to pay this much interest, so that is my liability. So when I'm going to close my books, so it will have the balance. So that balance we will be transferring to the next year books opening balance. That closing balance of this year will become the opening balance of next year. Okay, so when we are going to open the financial accounting entries or I we are going to open the books for the next year, so that will become our opening balance. So what is the treatment we have for the balance sheet account? We are going to transfer the balance from this year to next year. So this year closing balance will become your opening balance. So that is the year end treatment we have for the balance sheet account. And what is the treatment we have for the profit and loss account? So all those GL which you have set up as a profit and loss account, so whatever the balance we have in those profit and loss or income and expense GLs, so that balance we are going to transfer in this retained earning account. In this retained earning account, we are going to transfer the GL account balance with GL income expense. So here we are going to set up, actually we are going to maintain that information whenever there would be a profit and loss account or there would be a income or expense account. For that, if we are doing the year end treatment, so the balance should go to the retained earning account. So that setting we need to maintain under this step 3.4. And how we can set up it? For this, it is saying that once again you follow the path. You can also use the transaction code. So I will follow the path, go back. You see here the next step, we have the defined retained earning account. Click on this and give your chart of account ID. In our case it is 2233. Enter. Now you can just see chart of account. In this chart of account we have the BIL transaction. BIL means balance carry forward. Balance carry forward for which kind of GL? For all your P&L GL. P&L GL means income expense GL. So here we will be using X sign. X sign means we are selecting. So whatever the GL we will be selecting as a profit and loss. So their balances will go to the retained earning account. And here we will mention that retained earning account. Even if you have not created that retained earning account, you can mention here the account number. Okay. So here I am assuming that I have created I'm going to create this retained earning account with this number 1999. So I'll just press 2 time enter button, and then I will be able to save it, complete this step. So we understood the purpose of having this retained earning account, why we are setting up this retained earning account. So whenever you are creating any GL, so you need to give the account type. Because how the system will come to know if it is a profit and loss, if it is a expense or income account, or it is a balance sheet account. So whenever you are setting up any GL, so if the radio button is on this profit and loss account statement option, okay, so it means we have selected means, so that is our profit and loss account. And if we have not selected, then that is going to be your balance sheet. You can just, in that case, you can select this balance sheet account. So here we put this condition, if it is x means if we have selected profit and loss, then system should consider this GL, transfer the balance. If it is not the profit and loss, we have not selected it, I'll just show you a balance sheet account. You can just see in this case radio button we have not selected for this profit and loss, so it means it is not a profit and loss. So in the back end, how the system would be differentiated, so I'll just show you how the system would be able to differentiate. You can just see for balance sheet we have XX. These are the balance sheet account. And for the income statement, or I would say for the expense or your income, if you just go down, you can just see here we have the XX sign. So now if we have selected this, then system is going to denote it as a X. If we have not selected it, then system is not going to give the X sign, it will become blank. We are going to use this GL for the retained account, and if it is not X, then we are not going to use this GL for the retained earning account. So for example here, assets GL we will not be using for the retained earning account balance. Liability GL account balance will not be using for the retained earning account. Okay, so that is the meaning of X. So with this we have completed first 3 steps.